Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Yasodhanandana Prajajanaranja Yasodhanandana Prajajanaranja Yamuna Tera Vanachari Yamuna Tera Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodhanandana Prajajanaranja Yasodhanandana Prajajanaranja Yamuna Tera Vanachari Yamuna Tera Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Gopinata Radha Gopinata Shri Radhe Radha Gopinata Radha Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Shri Radhe Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Hare Krishna Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnu Padaya Shrimati Gopal Krishna Krishna Prabhupada Sharan Kirvan Sadhu Gatpati Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurudmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurung Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanvitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vindavanismari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kipashindubhya Ivacha Patitanang Papanebhyo Vaisnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We continue reading from the Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 17, the divisions of faith, text number 7. Āhāras tu api sarvasya tri-vidho bhavati priyaḥ yajñas tapas tathā dānaṁ teṣāṁ bhedam imam śṛṇu āhāras tu api sarvasya tri-vidho bhavati priyaḥ yajñas tapas tathā dānaṁ teṣāṁ bhedam imam śṛṇu āhāras tu api sarvasya tri-vidho bhavati priyaḥ yajñas tapas tathā dānaṁ teṣāṁ bhedam imam śṛṇu āhāras tu api sarvasya. Mataji's. Word for word meaning. Āhāraḥ, eating, to, certainly, api, also, sarvasya, of everyone, tri-vidhaḥ, of three kinds, bhavati, there is, priyaḥ, dear, yajñaḥ, sacrifice, tapas, austerity, tathā, also, dānam, charity, teṣāṁ, of them, bhedam, The difference is, imam this, śṛṇu here. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Even the food each person prefers is of three kinds, according to the three modes of material nature. The same is true of sacrifices, austerities, and charity. Now hear of the distinctions between them. Everybody please repeat. Even the food of each person prefers is of three kinds, according to the three modes of material nature. The same is true of sacrifices, austerities, and charity. Now hear of the distinctions between them. Purport. In terms of different situations in the modes of material nature, there are differences in the manner of eating and performing sacrifices, austerities, and charities. They are not all conducted on the same level. Those who can understand analytically what kind of performances are in with what modes of material nature are actually wise. Those who consider all kinds of sacrifices or food or charity to be the same cannot discriminate, and they are foolish. There are missionary workers who advocate that one can do whatever he likes and attain perfection. But these foolish guides are not acting according to the direction of the scripture. They are manufacturing ways and misleading the people in general. Āhāras tuapi sarvasya tri-vidho bhavati priyaḥ yajñas tapas tathā dānaṁ teṣāṁ bhedam imam śṛṇu. So we're just now, the last few days, just started this chapter from the Bhagavad Gita, the divisions of faith. According to the 16th chapter, just prior to this, there are two kinds of faith just mentioned. Those who have scriptural faith, they are the divine, because the previous chapter was entitled The Divine and Demoniac Nature. So the faith and the faithless were described. And here in this chapter, those who are in the middle with non-scriptural faith is being described. And accordingly, one is situated in either of these three divisions. We're all here in the material world being governed by the modes of material energy, the modes of nature, which is modes of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. Sattvagun, Rajagun, and Tamagun. This is the binding three modes that the living entities are being bound of. It is impossible to get out of this material world without becoming free from these modes of material nature. And therefore, it is only possible to give up all of these bindings if we follow the process enjoined by the scripture, and also by taking shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. So people have three types of faith, as mentioned earlier, and now we're just started to discuss the different kinds of faith, even in what one eats. As we will hear that later on, whatever we eat, whatever austerities we perform, whatever sacrifices that we perform, and also accordingly how we give charity. In any case, if one acts under the three modes of material nature, then one continuously to be bound up in this material world. And as Prabhupada says, at least we should come into the mode of goodness. The mode of goodness is like the stepping stone towards pure goodness, Vishuddha Sattva. So anything which is not recommended from the scriptures we try to avoid, and everything what the scripture says which is favorable, we should follow. Otherwise, we continuously to be bound up again and again in this material world. As we've learned from the previous chapter also, those who are in the demoniac nature, that means mode of ignorance and passion, they don't follow any scriptures. They deny the existence of the Supreme Lord. They consider themselves to be the ultimate controller of everything. Because this is due to pride or false ego, having ulterior motives, having separate desire than what the Supreme Lord's desire are. Also, they want to promote political and social ends, and they only act out of lust and greed. This is the demoniac nature. And therefore, they suffer repeated birth and death again and again and again. So, in order to get out of this predicament, miserable condition of life, one has to follow the process as enjoined from the Shastra and being taught by those who are fully realized, living entities, the representatives of the Supreme Lord. That means the spiritual master. As we will be discussing in the next few days, what are these three types of food that one eats? What are the three types of austerities? What are the three types of sacrifices? And what are the three types of charity that one performs? In the material world, to be good is not good enough. Prabhupada says, there is nothing good in this world. Even the good is bad. Why? Because if you perform those things which is in the mode of goodness, still one has to come back again to receive the reaction, which is also mode of goodness. If one acts in the mode of goodness, then the most he can go is in the Svargaloka, up in the heavenly planets. But still, one has to come down into these earthly planets and receive the due karma, the reaction of one's activities. So, as is mentioned here, people are of three kinds according to the three modes of material nature. One can make out a person's mode of faith by seeing his activities of eating, sacrifice, austerity, and charity. And since we don't have so much description of those, we'll not be able to discuss these three different kinds of divisions, whereby one eats, one performs sacrifice, one performs austerities, and one performs charity. But nevertheless, I was reading because just for an example, the next text will describe those food which is dear to those who are in the mode of goodness. It says that increases one's duration of life. Especially nowadays, they have what you call vegetarians in the West. And in particular, they are called vegans. They don't touch foodstuffs which is made of milk and milk products. But Prabhupada says we're not vegetarians. We are Krishnatarian. We only eat Krishna Prasad. To be a vegetarian is also not good enough, because we have to offer whatever Krishna wants to eat. It says in the Bhagavad Gita as well, if one offers me with love and devotion a flower, a fruit, a leaf, or some water, I will accept it. So the main ingredient, or two ingredients, in what we eat, before we eat, when we offer these different foodstuffs, which is also in the mode of goodness, but then it becomes transcendental. It becomes purified when we offer them to the Supreme Lord. There's a big difference. It's like in India, there are only two kinds of food, right? Veg and non-veg. Most of the restaurants, you can have a choice of the menu, veg or non-veg. But mostly people in India are vegetarians, but very few offer their food to Krishna. Prabhupada says, if it says in the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna will eat meat, then we will also eat meat. But he did not say that. And I was reading here, it's a nice book here, two parts. Uttama Sloka, compilations of different references from the different scriptures. This part is about meat eating. People they don't know when they eat meat that actually they commit so much sin. It says for every square inch, how many hairs it contains in the body of an animal. This is as many times also lifetimes that he will suffer. In the scriptures, if one wants to eat meat, then it is also prescribed that one can eat meat, but those of lower species of life, not the cows, especially. According to our Vedic culture, cow is one of our mothers. So how can we eat our mother? Prabhupada would say, when we were young, The cow gave us milk in order to sustain our life. And our mother also gave us milk. And in India, they take a lot of milk. So our mother who gives us milk, and also the same time as the cow who gave us milk, is considered as mother. It says here, this is from Skanda Purana, Kashikanda. I'll just say the English translation. But a person enthralled by sin cooks meat, resides in hell for as many years as many hairs present on that animal's body. Those evil-minded people who nourish their lives with the lives of others take birth again in this world after suffering in hell for 1 millennium and become the food of those living beings. Even if the vital air has come up to the neck with hunger, one should not eat meat. So as we mentioned, for as many hairs there are, there's as many lifetimes that one will suffer. Now Prabhupada, he gave an instruction to one of the Sankirtan devotees who was preaching in former communist country in Europe. And because over there it's very difficult to find vegetables, we've heard that in Lilamrita, when Srila Prabhupada asked his disciple Shyamasundar to get some milk and some vegetables, he had to line up in a long queue. And what kind of vegetables he got? Only some cabbage. So Prabhupada, there was this one Sankirtan devotee, and he was telling Prabhupada, it was so difficult here, there's nothing to eat. Prabhupada says, even if you have to eat meat, go and preach. Go and distribute books. This is how the sacrifice of one who will do in order to spread Sankirtan. Of course, this is just to say or to tell us that Sankirtan is very important, that even if one has to eat meat, continue preaching. I'm sure we will not eat meat, we will rather die in the breaking of the principles, following the 4 principles: meat eating, intoxication, gambling, and illicit sex. I think meat eating is the last thing that one will break. One will even ready to die. So, the importance of not eating meat. If one performs Asvamedha Yajña every year for 100 years, and one who does not eat meat, if those two are compared together, then the person who has given up eating meat proves to be the best. So this is just an example of one of the division that one is in the modes of darkness or ignorance will do. Food prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten, food that is tasteless, decomposed, and putrid, and food consisting of remnants and untouchable things is dear to those in the mode of darkness. So, there are these 3 divisions. As we discussed earlier, those in the mode of goodness, Those such foods are juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart. And those who are in the mode of passion, they like eating food which is too bitter, too sour, very salty, very hot, pungent, dry, and burning, are dear to those in the mode of passion. Such foods cause distress, misery, and disease. So accordingly to what we eat, there's a saying in English also, you are what you eat. You are what you eat. And since the devotees, they eat only Krishna prasadam, then they are in the modes of pure goodness. Then, description of those who are performing sacrifices. Again, in the mode of goodness, in the mode of passion, and in the mode of ignorance. And also the one who performs charity. One must be very careful, especially in giving charity. It is not that once you give charity, there is no reaction, or the reaction is always good. If you give charity to the right person, at the right place, at the right time, then the result also is quite surmountable. It's huge. But then if you give charity to the wrong person, and the charity that you gave will be used in a different purpose, then you get the charity of giving that in the wrong person, then the reaction is also going to be wrong. You're going to be having a negative effect. But if you give charity to a qualified brahmana, or charity is given to persons who propagate Krishna consciousness, or to help spread Krishna consciousness, then also the result of the charity that one gave will be unlimited. But at the same time, one should not be too proud. Oh yes, I gave this much charity, so I want to hear my name during Mangal Artik. Because if you don't say my name during Mangal Artik, I'll be angry. I will be upset. No. It says that if you give charity, and the charity that you gave for that specific purpose, and your name is not mentioned, it has more effect. The result will be much more, rather than, oh, I want to hear my name, even though I only give a little bit. Some devotees are like that. They give charity, but they don't want to be mentioned, their names. That means they are giving out of their heart, and Krishna knows. Krishna knows what they gave. We don't have to know, but of course, to encourage others to give. But this devotee, he would rather not be mentioned his name, and therefore, the result of what he gave, it'll be returned back much, much more. And then he will give it back again to Krishna, again and again and again. Others, they give charity, very little, but they keep more. Even though they can give more, but just to be known that they gave charity. And in the world also, there's so many charitable institutions for different purposes. To save the whales, to save the forest, to feed the homeless, to give shelter to the people who lives in the street. There's so many kinds of charity, but the highest type of charity is to give Krishna consciousness, to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books. There's so many kinds of austerities as well, 3 types of austerities. So different kinds of personalities, according to the modes that they acquired from the past, they also perform different kinds of austerities for material gain. But our austerity is to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. This is the highest austerity, the greatest austerity, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So one must be very, very careful. And there are many missionary workers who advocate that one can do whatever he likes and attain perfection. There's so many so-called spiritual institutions nowadays. It becomes like a business. They will have so many followers. Just to accumulate many, many followers, they will tell the leader of that so-called spiritual institution, he will say, you can do whatever you like, no problem. You just give me a little bit of fee. I will make you liberated. I will help you to become liberated from the cycle of repeated birth and death. But you don't have to follow any rules and regulations. Will that work? That will not work, isn't it? And Prabhupada is so strict in this way that in the beginning of our movement, he didn't set any rules and regulations. He just asked them to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and take Krishna Prasad. Then after they become purified, then they want to get more benefit by following a spiritual master, taking shelter. And then Srila Prabhupada set the rules and regulations. One may be popular, as Prabhupada says, we are selling genuine diamonds. For those who really want to follow the process, then you will only find few who are very sincere to follow it. But then, if you are selling broken glass, everyone can afford the broken glass. You don't have to sacrifice so much. So similarly, the process of Krishna consciousness is very simple for the simple-minded, but it's very difficult for the crooked-minded. And for those who wish to make further advancement in Krishna consciousness, then they have to follow certain aspects that the Vedic scriptures are telling us to do. We have to follow this, attend morning program, chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, do some practical service during the day, read Srimad Bhagavatam, read Bhagavad Gita, associate with the devotees. So in this way, we can become free from these different divisions of faith, which is considered to be everyone is under. A devotee who follows the process, then he is free from all of these different sacrifices, meaningless austerities, meaningless charities. Meaningless means it will not have any spiritual benefit. It doesn't matter how much money one give to donation, but if it's for mundane cause, the only result of that is further repeated birth and death. It will not end one's life, the cycle of repeated birth and death. So, they only manufacture ways and misleading people in general. If you really want genuine items, this Krishna consciousness, then the Paramatma will guide you to go to that direction. But because people wanted to be cheated, Prabhupada says this world is made out of two living beings, the cheater and the cheated. So that's why there are many cheaters, because there are many who wants to be cheated. There are many blind followers, then there are many blind leaders as well. If we want real, genuine things, then we have to pay the price. We have to perform real austerity. We have to perform real sacrifice. We have to do real, everything real, based from the Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic scriptures. Hare Krishna. So we stop here. Any questions or comments? Later on, we will read more of these different types or divisions of faith. We just touch a little bit, because this is like the introductory verse for further description of other things that will be mentioned. Any other question or points? We will stop here now. No question? Yes, there you go. Which type of food in the mode of goodness? Food in the mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify one's existence, and give strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Such foods are juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart, like fruits and vegetables, milk and milk products. Yeah, these are in the mode of goodness. Yeah. But according to one's bodily condition, one should also eat proper food. It's like in Ayurveda, there is what? Kapha, Pitta, and Vayu. Yes? So each and every one of us, our body is conditioned in such way. If you're a Pitta, you have a Pitta body, is strong. That means the fire is strong, or the air is strong. Kapha, Pitta, and Vayu. The food stuff that you have to eat, you have to choose also. Because if you're in the Pitta and you eat food that will increase more your Pitta, then you'll be in trouble. There'll be disorder in your system. That's why many people get sick. So we have to know what composition or our body belongs to. Then, of course, when you are young, you can eat whatever you like. But once you reach the age of 40, you have to choose. You have to have a proper diet. So yes, when you're young, you eat anything and everything, but still one has to be careful. Don't eat too much sweet. Sugar. Sugar is a killer, actually. And in ISKCON, every day, gulab jamun, sandesh, malai, rasgulla, jalebi, or pakora, or samosa. All of these things are good. But if you eat them in excess and every day, it's like our mahapasad. It's so good. But if you eat mahapasad every day, you're going to get sick. Not because of the food, it's because it's so rich. So much ghee. Yeah. And sugar. Look at the Mahaprasad stall right now. There's so much sugar there. Krishna can eat that, but we cannot eat that all the time. I was reading the other day, sugar is more addictive than cocaine. Cocaine is an addictive drug, but sugar is more addictive, like 10 times more. Others, they cannot, especially Brajabasis, they cannot eat without eating sugar, mithai. Huh? It doesn't matter. Sugar is sugar. White, brown, yellow, red, blue. They're all sugar. Now there's an alternative. What do you call this? Stevia or monk fruit sugar. Then it becomes chemicals. So we'd like to eat properly so that we can live longer to serve Krishna and the Vaishnavas. Hey, where's the microphone, Prabhu? Microphone. You can speak louder, but we will not hear in the internet.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Ram.
Maharaj, like these in the third month we are fasting from milk. We are not taking milk. So if we drink milk, so will that be in mode of goodness or?
See, we are in Chaturmasya.
Yes.
So there are different items, food stuff that we have to do some fasting. This is to increase our love for Krishna. But if you have to take medicine with milk, then you should take milk. One should not fast for the sake of fasting, and it will help. It will not help other things that you have to do. Like if you have to take medicine, very strong medicine, the doctor will tell you to drink milk with it, right? If you have to take antibiotics, you have to take milk with it because antibiotic is very strong. Yeah? So in this Chaturmasya, we avoid this food stuff like spinach, yogurt, milk, and then urad dal. Yeah, that's the last in Kartik. That's what we're going to do. So it helps also us to control our senses in that way.
And suppose like we take in milk, we can take cornflakes or something like that. Will that be also prohibited?
Yes.
Okay.
But milk, when it becomes yogurt, then that is okay. Then that is not, it is milk, but it's not milk also. Or when you eat sweet rice. Sweet rice is made of milk also, but it's not milk anymore because you get milk. It get mixed. But if you eat milk and cereal, you can still see the milk there. The milk is still with the cereal. So, no, okay? Yes. Hare Krishna. Back to mic. Hare
Krishna Maharaj. What about
What about, I'm not hearing you.
what about masoor dal, Maharaj?
Huh?
Masoor dal.
What?
Masoor dal and eggplant.
What's that? What about it? Dal?
Yeah, pulses,
What is masoor dal?
red lentil,
Yeah. Green?
red lentils.
Oh, that red is we don't eat that Damodar month. Yeah. Is that the same as urad dal? No?
No, red lentils.
Red? We don't take red dal. We like green and like the yellow.
Yeah.
Split mung dal, green dal, but not red. You like red? Huh? You don't like
But
red?
I just want to confirm, like,
No.
it just increase rajogun.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. We don't take those.
and eggplant.
Eggplant? Well, in other places they don't eat eggplant, especially in Ekadasi. In Jagannath Puri, they don't eat carrots and eggplant. No? Is it eggplant in Jagannath Puri? No.
Some Vaishnavas don't.
Yeah, some other vegetables which is considered to be Western vegetable. But only Krishna Prasad. We should not be too... okay? Foods, some other food also that will increase one's mode of passion and ignorance, we try to avoid them. Like mushrooms. We don't eat them. Do we eat mushrooms? No. You know what's mushroom? Yeah, they're small with like an umbrella. Yeah? Yeah, we don't eat them also. Or onions. Onions and garlic increases one's rajagun, mode of passion. Yes. But that will be described later on, whoever is giving the next class. Okay? Anything else?
Just one more, Maharaji. Jaggery.
Huh?
Jaggery.
Jaggery?
Yeah, good, jaggery.
Gur? Yeah, we can eat them. Yeah. We
Is it
have...
a good alternative for sugar?
What's that?
Is it a good alternative for sugar?
Yeah. What do you call it? Khand.
Yeah.
Khand. Yeah. But sugar is sugar. Doesn't matter. I like sugar, but sugar doesn't like me. Okay? Alright? Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Shri Tanath Premanande.